Have you ever felt as a new coach that your confidence just isn't there? You don't feel good enough, and old man imposter syndrome is showing up at your doorstep all the time? If that's you, I want you to stick around. I have some solutions for you. Welcome to the Unstuck Podcast. I'm your host, Drew Koss, and today we're going to talk about building confidence as a new coach or building confidence when you're going into a new area as a coach. So, what do I mean, Drew, by building confidence as a coach? To coach people, you have to have some form of confidence because you're teaching them to move from A to B or B to C. And to do that, you have to be confident within yourself to be able to lead them. And if you didn't notice, people can tell when you're not confident. Now, confidence doesn't mean that you're perfect. It doesn't mean you don't have struggles. It doesn't mean you don't fight with low self-esteem, insecurities, and all of these things. It doesn't mean that. It just means you're at a place in maybe your life where you can move people from A to B because of some work that you have done. Now, common things that come up when coaches are starting a practice or switching a practice is they start comparing themselves to somebody who has done it for a long time. They compare themselves to somebody who has way more repetitions than they have. And if we're being honest, the person who usually has the more reps or the most reps, they're more confident because they've been in the arena more times. It doesn't mean they're a better person. They've just been in the arena more times. Now, we also look at celebrities and we think celebrities have always been this confident. Celebrities have never, ever struggled with any of the things that I'm struggling with. And I want to tell you, my friend, that is not true. I'll name some celebrities that you might know. Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey has made it known that she struggled with her weight, insecurities. Now, Oprah has had a horrible story where she was raped, she was molested for years. That alone can destroy someone's confidence. My wife and I have a nonprofit where we help women of color who have been sexually assaulted and sex trafficked or human trafficked. And I can tell you from experience dealing with somebody who's had that type of hurt, their confidence is shot. For Oprah to rise and build confidence, to be on television, to have one of the biggest shows on TV, lets us all know it's possible to build this confidence. I'm going to show you how later. Les Brown, one of the most known motivational speakers in the world, was labeled that he was retarded. He had a stuttering problem. He had a problem with his insecurity as well. And he rose. Eric Thomas, the famous Serena Williams. When we see Serena Williams now, we often look at her as this confident beast. Like she's unstoppable. She's great. And she is. But she always compared herself to Venus. She always compared herself to what she wasn't. When we look at celebrities, we have to remember what we see now is them putting in a lot of repetitions in the field that they're in. We all know Mamba mentality from Kobe Bryant. He talked about when he was younger, how he got beat in a game and how bad he lost. And he made it up to himself that he was going to outwork anybody. And arguably, he sure did. But for you, if you don't feel that you're where they're at, I'm going to reverse backwards and reverse engineer how you can get there. The first thing I would say to do is, as a coach, think, what is my learning bank? What am I doing to actually learn? What am I doing to actually learn? When people think about learning, they often think about, I got to go to school, which is not bad. But when we think about learning, we want to first find out, what are the things that are going to build me up inwardly to actually coach people? It may not be getting another certificate. It may not be getting another degree, because I know people who have degrees who can't coach because they're so ashamed of themselves and they're so torn inwardly that they just can't produce what they've actually learned. So maybe my first thing I want to do in my learning bank is, what is going to help me address what I feel is wrong? That might be my voice. That might be my appearance. That might be my perspective. I may need a mental shift. I may need to take some mindset courses and mindset classes. When I was deep into being a personal trainer, every trainer was just taking courses that talked about how to move better. Not bad. They took those courses how to move better. I wanted to take courses that helped me inwardly because I knew that was what's going to come out to my clients. So think, what are the areas that I feel need some work? And don't be afraid to confront that. If you know you have a belief system problem where every time it's time to charge somebody, you get hung up. Okay, let's start thinking about some money, some issues, some mental things around money, some mindset things around money. If I get hung up every time it's time for me to speak in front of people, let's take some public speaking classes. With all that being said, there's a lot out there that's free that you can take. Udemy has stuff. A lot of coaches have freebies. But think, what am I putting into my learning bank that's going to help me inwardly? If you are a coach and you have a coach, that's going to segue into the next part. How do I take feedback? If I am looking at feedback as an attack on me, I probably want to deal with how I'm feeling rejected. And I know we're not going into therapy and things like that, but I want to look at, how do I feel rejected when I get this feedback? Or why am I feeling that this person is telling me I'm not good enough when they're just telling me to change my computer screen when I'm talking to somebody? Feedback is one of the quickest ways to, I would say, to shorten a gap of learning. Because feedback from the right coach or the right person or someone who's been there already is the shortcut. It's that shortcut that's giving you, hey, you did A, B, and C, right? Let's work on D next time. It's not saying you did D wrong, so don't think about A, B, and C. That's not what's being said. And if we're hearing that, that's some rejection issue that we need to take up with our therapist, with God, or whomever. I like the feedback part because feedback also lets people know that there is something that you have that is good. We're just sharpening the saw. We're just trimming the fat or helping you just hone it a little better. And a coach that never has a coach or never gets coached is probably one of the most dangerous coaches. Why do I say that? If they don't get coached and you don't have a coach, you're not learning anymore probably. You're probably thinking that you arrived. Now, I know you're probably saying, yes, but you can be taking online courses and things like that. Yes, you are right. But a lot of people without some form of accountability, most people won't do any self-growth. Most people won't. My last point, let's just recap first. The first one was my learning bank. What am I learning and how am I learning and how frequent am I doing that? I like to say if you read a book a month, the next month, the things that you wrote down, maybe go take action on those things. I've read 50 books a year before, and I can tell you, it was cool to say, but I can't probably remember a lot of the stuff. I'd rather you read a book a month or a book every 8 weeks, but you take notes on things that you want to go and implement. Implementation of the information is way more important than just having information in your head, because information is free. We can get information right on Google, Chat GPT, YouTube. We can get it any day, every day. You want to be in a place where you're implementing what you are working on. Now, so we had the learning bank. The second one was feedback. I need to get into a place where I accept feedback. I receive feedback and I realize the feedback isn't personal. It's helping the skill that I have. It's not personal. It's not an attack on how good I am. It's helping the skill I have. The next one is repetition. And I'm going to use some sports analogies, so please stay with me. LeBron James talked about how when he was 18, he wouldn't leave the gym until he shot 1,000 shots a day. That's a lot of shots. 1,000 shots a day. He's 18. And he talked about later he wouldn't have wished that on anybody, but how hard he worked. Kobe Bryant would talk about how if practice started at 7 a.m., he would go and practice from 4 to 6 a.m., rest, go practice with the team from 7 to 9, do their lifting, and then he would practice again around like 12 to 2. Team would come back at 4. He would have another practice after that. Think about the amount of repetitions he got that his teammates and the people around him did not get. So let's just say for Kobe, right? Kobe is, hey, I know we are all shooting at 60% right now. If I'm going to be better, I have to figure out a way to get more shots, or I'm going to remain the same or on the same playing ground as you. So I need to figure out a way creatively to get more reps. So he started adding in more practices. Now let's just say the whole team is practicing 10 times a week. 10 times a week. If Kobe is practicing, this is wild. If he's practicing 3 times a day, think about that. 7 times 3 is 21. The team is practicing 10 hours a week. They're practicing 10 times. He's practicing 21 times. By the second week, they've accumulated 20 practices. Kobe's at 42. Third week, they're at 30. Kobe's at 63. Fourth week, they're at 40. Kobe's at 84. Just think about how he just doubled his output, his confidence, based on being creative to do a little extra work. And I know we're in an era where everyone's just manifesting things, but I still believe that you want to work hard at things that you want to be good at. If you're a natural speaker, you still should work hard at speaking better. If you feel that you want to be good at something, it's okay to put some extra work in that area, because it's going to show up. It's going to show up on your calls. It's going to show up in your program. It's going to show up in your pricing. It's going to show up in your networking. If you put the work, imposter syndrome is not going to be able to overcome you. The reason why we struggle with imposter syndrome is because we don't have enough repetitions in the area that we're going to. And how do I know this? Because no one has imposter syndrome about brushing their teeth. That's an adult. Well, you shouldn't. The reason why you don't have imposter syndrome come up when it comes to brushing your teeth is because you've brushed your teeth multiple times. And if you haven't, shame on you, but I'm kidding. You've done it multiple times. You got the repetition so much that you can be brushing your teeth and doing something else and watching a video. Most people don't have a problem with the repetition of eating food. You know how to pick it up, how to put it in your mouth, how to chew it, and that's it. You want your coaching to be able to be that. Now, a way you can get more repetitions as a coach, especially a new coach, if you don't have any clients, is think about your coaching model and start offering it for free when you can. You can lessen the time, but offer it for free so that you can get your reps in. Something that I did when I wanted to get more comfortable coaching people is I did these two things. One reason was so that I can market. The second reason was so that people can see me coach. And the third reason was so that I can get better coaching. And the fourth reason was I wanted to study what was happening with me on camera with them. So I would do Instagram lives. I would say, hey, free coaching sessions, 15 minutes, free consulting session for 15 minutes. Got to just come on live. I get to keep the recording because I'm recording it, and then I could probably use it for something else. And I did. So what I would do is I would just talk about the issues that I could solve for people. And then when people saw the issues, they just booked the call and we got on. Now I'm going to tell you how it worked. They would come on, I would just talk about like, how you doing? I would just give them some time to just breathe, build some rapport, and then I would listen to the issues that they were talking about, and I would try to find the underlying issue. What was really happening? What were they telling me? What was really happening? And then after that, if I found out what was really happening and I told them about it, I gave them I was consulting, so I gave them some advice or some tips that they could use to go make it better. With that being said, the cool thing that happened was I started getting better, but I also started realizing that I was rushing them. I started realizing that What I thought was the underlying issue wasn't, because I didn't ask enough questions. So guess what I did with that? I would write down, hey, when you get to this part, ask another question. Questions are the keys. Your brilliance is not the key. The questions are the keys. Let them uncover what's happening underneath, and now they can own the next step that they need to make. Most people will be good if you posted it every day for 40 days. I guarantee you can get 3 people. Now, I know someone's like, I posted it once. Nobody said anything. Post it 3 times a day for 40 days. See what happens. That's the repetitions. I did that and I got better being on camera, coaching somebody. When I wanted to get better at being on camera and speaking into a mic, I made myself a pact that I had to do a video a day. And I just kept doing videos, and I kept doing them until I got comfortable where when I saw a camera come on, I didn't freeze. If you don't feel you're good in the area, it's because you probably don't have enough repetitions. So you want to get the repetitions. So let's just recap. And then I want you guys to just consider this. You want to think about what's going inside my learning bank. How am I accepting feedback or viewing feedback? And then third, how am I getting repetitions? Now, with that being said, I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you. If you are a coach that's hearing this, I'm going to challenge you for the next 7 days to try to get a free 15-minute call and coach somebody. Coach them scared. Let them know, hey, I'm a new coach. I'm just ironing out some kinks. I would love to have a chance to help you grow. Most people will not say no. Be you guys. They'll adjust. Take care.